The entrance to her primary election night speech that Abby Finkenauer had wanted. As a former congresswoman with her D.C. allies helping her, she was the Iowa Democrats' frontrunner when it came to the party's U.S. Senate nomination. Turns out her race wasn't even close. Former Navy Admiral Mike Franken's campaign and supporters had grown increasingly optimistic over the past month before the primary. Now, Finkenauer had survived that court challenge as to whether she had collected the minimum number of signatures required to appear on the primary ballot. You'll remember she ripped that district judge as a partisan when they were going through that legal process, and that had turned off some of the Democrats. Others had wondered how an experienced politician like Finkenauer didn't do a better job of collecting extra signatures on the petition forms like good campaigns usually do. And in the end, she never really accepted any blame for anything that went down. So we want to take a little deeper dive into the primary night numbers now. Leading into election night, our political team had picked 7 different counties to watch for a variety of reasons. So let's look at some of them. When you look at the state's largest county, Polk, huge county for Democrats, obviously, but it was a big win for Franken. His campaign had focused a little extra attention on the Polk area. Franken got an apartment here to give him a place to stay so he didn't always have to drive back to Sioux City. Ended up beating Finkenauer by about 21 points. Now look at Story County. It's home to Iowa State University in Ames. Finkenauer, just for perspective, is about half of Franken's age, maybe a younger crowd in the Ames area, although we have to remember a lot of the students would actually be back home by primary night unless they voted early there. Well, no matter what here, Franken beat Finkenauer soundly here by 30 points. Now let's look at Dallas County, one of the fastest growing counties in the country. Nearly 5% more registered Republicans than Democrats, but there are still 17,000 plus Democrats, another 20,000 plus independents. No matter what here, Franken won by almost 1,000 votes. Scott's an interesting county, sits on the Iowa-Illinois border. Finkenauer did better here. She won by almost 500 votes, but that was a rarity. She fared poorly in some of the counties she used to represent when she was in Congress. Look at Dubuque County. That was her home county back then. She lived in Dubuque. Franken won that one by 700 plus in the county. Finkenauer, by the way, lives in Lynn County now. She's in Cedar Rapids. She lost there too by about 4%. Now look at Blackhawk County, also in that region. Not much success for her there either. Franken took this county, won this one by nearly 1,200 votes. Finally, we have Johnson County, huge county for Democrats, 49,000 registered Democrats there. It's nearly 3 times the number that they have of registered Republicans. And big problem for Finkenauer there. Franken, you can look at the numbers there. He won by nearly 3,100 votes. You add them all up, Franken got 55% of that Democratic vote, about 40% for Finkenauer, 5% for Dr. Glenn Hurst. Now, last August, Congresswoman Axne had endorsed Finkenauer's Senate campaign. You remember they had history together, both got elected to the U.S. House back in 2018. First 2 Iowa women to get elected to the U.S. House. So now what? After Finkenauer lost this Senate race so convincingly.
Franken has run a very good campaign. And so I got to give him a lot of credit for that. These are not easy elections. Campaigns are incredibly hard. You come from a state like Iowa where you're expected to be everywhere all the time. They're tough. So I got to say, I got to give them a lot of credit for pulling off what I thought was a really good campaign. We've seen our country under attack, unfortunately, by our own citizens. Our voting rights diminished across the country, including in Iowa. We now see a war overseas, and I think that so many people look to Admiral Franken and saw a face and a message that they thought could help us through these difficult times.
Franken, he told me that he wants to codify a woman's right to an abortion. He'd push for universal background checks before a person can buy a gun. I asked him maybe a little unusual question here, but how would he plan to work in the U.S. Senate with Iowa's other Republican senator here should he win? Joni Ernst, what would he do with her?
I think we would be a dynamic duo in many respects. I think we would be helpful in veterans issues, certainly. She's from Red Oak, Iowa, small town Iowa. I think that she's been inculcated in those basic Iowa values, I would hope, and as her counterpart, I don't look to be the junior senator from the state of Iowa. I look to be the leading senator from the state of Iowa, leading as in leading the charge. I think we can find items of mutual enhancement with healthcare, certainly mental health in the state of Iowa.
First time anybody said inculcated on the Insiders, I think. One final question for Frank in here. What does he think is Iowa's biggest challenge?
The divisiveness in the State House. I believe we're introducing measures which are solving an issue that doesn't exist, and there's always a compromising ideological underpinning associated with it. And I don't understand why we are creating this animus amongst each other. I don't know why we've declared this mini conflict with education in the state of Iowa. My Iowa is where rural schools, like where I went, an hour each way on a bus on a gravel road, was 99th in the nation in educational achievement. And it wasn't something that we touted, it was expected. That's the Iowa I remember, where Iowa State is an affordable place to go to school, and it gives that best technical education, and the various colleges associated with the University of Iowa and UNI, Teachers College, et cetera, where my sisters went. We had family members attend every school in the state. This is the school this is the state I remember. That's the Iowa I would like to rejuvenate, and let's stop with the animus. That's, I think, self-imposed.
So what about Chuck Grassley? Since 1959, he campaigns, he wins. State House of Representatives, U.S. House of Representatives, U.S. Senate. He's been in the Senate since 1981. And when he runs in the Senate, he can count on at least 60% of the vote in that election. Democrats, once again, say the goal is to defeat him.
I've had 6 previous re-elections where the Democrat opponent said exactly the same thing as you quoted these opponents saying to me. I do exactly the same thing that I've been successful at before. My way of earning re-election is to do the job of a senator like I have always done it, serving the people of Iowa, being present in the Senate, not missing a vote. And when we're not in session, like last week, I was holding county meetings around the state to have a Q&A, to determine what's on people's minds, to encourage my citizens to continue dialogue with me when they can't see me face to face through email, postal mail, telephone, etc. That's what I've been doing for a long time. I'm going to continue doing it against this Democratic opponent, and I expect to be successful.
Grassley, over the years, not only wins over with Republicans, he also gets his share of independents, and he gets some Democrats. So how does he plan to win over those who have not backed him yet this year?
Be a problem with the way people feel about the Biden agenda. Republicans aren't going to want more of the Biden agenda that they get if they elected Democrats to the United States Congress. And right now, things are so favorable to Republicans that we'll take over the Senate and the House. Now, it could change in the next 153 days, but I don't think it will. And then Republicans are going to be united. That just normally happens, not just in Iowa, but across the country. People just do not want more of the bad policies of Biden, inflation. Also, we have to consider not only the Republicans that we didn't get on board, but we also got to work for the independents. And it seems like the independents tend to be turned off as much by the Biden administration as Republicans are.
Coming up next, final question for Congresswoman Axne, her advice for Democrats this year.